Good morning everyone, the MMDA are back on the road. Right now they're on Mabuhay lane number 2. They're looking at this bus that's parked over here. They want to try and free up the road so everyone going to work, going to school can get there without sitting too long in traffic. So let's go. And of course they're also watching out for things like this, motorcycles where the driver or the passenger isn't wearing a helmet. There's actually a number of buses parked here, so they're just issuing tickets now and then they're going to send them on their way. And if you look next to these buses, there is a sign that says no parking because this is a Mabuhay lane, which means it's always prioritized for clearing. It's an alternative to EDSA. They started loading the students, but Bong has asked that they move the students back into the school and then take the buses to them because there's really a lot of vehicles driving around here. And it's, you know, a potential for them to get hit by one of those vehicles. And if you look at the area where all the children were going, you can see there's actually a lot of construction rubble and there's even a big hole here. And it's not very nice when you look inside this hole. I guess it's meant to be the sewer, but look down there. So yeah, it's really better if they can just take the buses to the students instead of bringing them out here where they have to deal with this and, you know, deal with all of these vehicles passing by. And here you can see one of the guys collecting trash for the day. These guys work very hard, they're often underappreciated. You can see their truck is just over there. They're just doing a quick briefing before they continue the operation. If you look over here, this is where that truck recently fell into the road. It was in the news. Yeah, this is where it happened, I guess. Here's another angle just to give you an idea. The truck must have been going this way and then boop, fell in. Of course there was a road here, but it collapsed. So far so good. This is a very clear Mabuhay lane. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, they're always prioritized for clearing because they're considered as alternatives to EDSA and they're expected to handle high volumes of traffic. So yeah, it shows that it does pay off. If you regularly clear the roads, then they do stay clear most of the time. As I walk along here, I find myself more and more inclined to walk in the road instead of the sidewalk. Why? Because the sidewalk is wet in a lot of places and it's at an angle like this. So I keep finding myself nearly slipping and it's very difficult to walk on an angle like this. So that's why I think a lot of people just give up and walk in the road itself. Now of course this probably started its life as a flat sidewalk, but then at some point the property owner said, hey, we need a ramp for access, and then it got converted, and that's kind of the situation we're in right now. See, that guy nearly slipped also. Over here they've stopped this motorcycle. You can see the young boy on the back doesn't have a helmet, unfortunately. And further along they're issuing tickets to vehicles parked in front of the hospital. Not only is it no parking this side, but they're near the entrance, and there are extra rules about parking near an entrance of a hospital, fire station and things like that. There's no driver for this red one, so they're bringing in the tow truck now to take it away. And of course, not just motorcycles and cars, they're also issuing a ticket to this truck that's parked on the sidewalk. Again, if the driver doesn't appear in time, it will get towed away. It looks like the driver might really not be here because a bunch of people have offered to drive the truck, but none of them have had a license or they haven't had the right restriction code on their license to drive this truck. So I think it really will get towed away. And here goes that truck now on the back of a tow truck. Further down the road you can see another eatery. They put their chairs and tables on the sidewalk. There's a lot of people that really, you know, use the sidewalk for their businesses, but it's not really allowed. The sidewalk is meant to be reserved for pedestrians. And those items that weren't moved by the owners end up going on the back of the truck just to make sure the sidewalk is cleared. And further down the road you can see they're rushing to get their building materials off the sidewalk and into the building to comply with the request to clear the sidewalk. That's one thing I can say is these workers, these laborers, these construction men, they're always very quick to react when there's a complaint. So that's always great to see. Further down the road, the towing crew are taking away this motorcycle. They stopped the rider because he wasn't wearing a helmet and the bike doesn't have a plate. Unfortunately, he can't show a license either, so it's being impounded. So the team are now here on Dela Fuente. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but Trabajo Market. Again, they're going to be trying to clear the road, clear the sidewalks. Their team did operate here the other day, but you can see again the roads and sidewalks are fully obstructed, unfortunately. As I mentioned in my last video, many of these store owners do actually have a building, but they extend onto the sidewalk in front of the building. So as much as possible, what they're trying to do is push them inside and keep them there. And just like last time, the first casualties for confiscation are the umbrellas. And while you see some stores have only extended over the sidewalk, others have actually extended into the road itself. And then by evening, they extend a little bit more, and it really causes a lot of traffic. If you look further down the street, you can see many of the vendors are already starting to roll away their carts to avoid confiscation, because they did have items confiscated last week. Over here you can see they're breaking down tables, chairs, things like that so they can fit on the truck, and you can see the sidewalk is slowly starting to reappear, giving pedestrians the space to walk. A couple of days ago someone commented on one of my videos that, hey, you're just making fake, you're just making pretend that these clearing operations are happening. And I told him, you know, every single day the MMDA are out here clearing, and there are many different teams from the MMDA doing the same thing in different areas. The problem isn't that the MMDA aren't doing anything, it's that when they leave, no one's maintaining it. So don't get angry at the guys who are actually trying, get angry at the guys who aren't trying. And like I mentioned in my last video, another reason why they're clearing vendors from the road and the sidewalk, apart from traffic, congestion, pedestrian safety, is they want to give an opportunity to those vendors who are doing business here in the Trabajo Market building. This was provided by the local government as a legitimate space for vendors to operate. So the thing is, they're doing things by the book, they're following the rules, they're doing their business inside, but they're losing customers because they're buying outside on the road, on the sidewalk. So they're also trying to give an opportunity to those vendors who are really following the rules. Although they've already removed a lot of their stuff, there's still so many stores over here, and what I'm wondering is, how do you get into this shop? I can't even see the entrance. I wonder if they're still in business. I mean, I can see the lights are on inside, but how do you get in there as a customer? So I found the door behind all of this stuff, but I'm wondering, how as a customer do you get through there? There's not even any space. All their freezers and fridges are full of products, so I guess they are open for business, but there's no way for a customer to get inside.
Sinanay talaga. Alam nyo, kahit sasabihin ko sa inyo, sasabihin ko sa inyo, kahit sabihin namin na bukas kami babalik, nandyan pa rin kayo.
Hindi kami nilalagay. O, basta babalik kayo, kayo magsisinungaling.
Ako po yung taong, hindi ko sinasabing hindi ako nagsisinungaling, pero ako yung tao mo.
Nakanda na kami, bukas sarado kami, o diba?
Babalikan ko kayo araw-araw.
Wala na kakainin.
Napakalapit ko lang dito, araw-araw ko kayo babalikan. Pwede ba yun?
Hindi ko pwede. Maawa kayo.
Hindi naman pwede kayo masusunod. Sa susunod na balik natin.
Pwede hanggang ano lang, katulad yung sa Blooming Treat, nakita ko may guwit.
Blooming Treat?
Yung nagkakauli, lalo lang lagi ako nanonood sa YouTube.
Kaya nga po, yung sa Blooming Treat may espasyo, dito wala tayong espasyo.
Baka naman pwede yung...
Kailangan pong mabuhay na yung pamuto. So, yan na lang natin.
Kaya kapiraso lang po.
Pumasok sa loob, ang daming pwesto.
Wala po, hindi pa kami
Kasya kayo dyan.
Kulang po.
Lipat na lang natin si Marsada dito. O palitan na lang natin ang pangalan. Para hindi tayo babalik sa Fuente. Ha? Eh di ba, Nay? Pasko naman eh, pagbigyan niyo na ako.
Dapat nga kayo magbigay sa amin dahil magpapasko.
Eh matagal ko na kayo pinagbibigyan kahit hindi Pasko eh.
Dapat nga ngayon magpapasko, tapos na ngayong huli-huli, kawawa naman kami.
Ano ha? Seryosohin ako. Kilala niyo naman ako, di ba? Okay. Ayos, thank you.
If you look at this property, you can see it's a shop that goes back very far, so it's actually quite a large property. But even so, they've extended over onto the sidewalk and a little bit into the road. So you have to wonder, they already have so much space to sell items, do they really need to go this far and take the sidewalk? And as if by magic, the sidewalk has reappeared. You can see gradually the sidewalk is reappearing in front of this supermarket here. Like I mentioned in the past, confiscation is always a last resort for the MMDA. As much as possible, they don't want to disrupt the life of people who are trying to earn a living, who at the same time they are responsible for keeping the sidewalks clear, keeping the roads clear for everyone's safety and for those that move around the city. If you wonder about traffic and you complain about traffic, well, honestly, this is one of the reasons for traffic, especially when they extend and extend and extend. And I just saw an interesting sign up here from the barangay. And you know what's unusual about this sign? It just gives the instructions, ordered by who, their position, and there's no big photo of their face or something like that. That's another thing that's always nice. Even when the team are clearing someone, they're still willing to share their water to, you know, help them quench their thirst. So it's a nice little touch. The team are now in scout area and they've stopped this motorcycle rider here, not wearing a helmet, issuing a ticket now and then send him on his way. And further down the road you can see they're already hooking up to this car to tow it away. There's no driver and it's considered as illegally parked here. It's quite a busy area, so they really want to clear it to reduce congestion and traffic. Over here they're making noise to try and get the attention of the owner of this vehicle to come out and move it. It's meant to be a sidewalk, but it's being obstructed at the moment. The problem for the driver is they could be all the way up the top there, and it would take them a long time to come down depending on how busy the elevator is. So there's a good possibility that this vehicle might get towed away to clear it from the sidewalk. It looks like the driver has arrived in time. Actually, he's lucky because it's been around 6 minutes, but no tow truck arrived, so he'll be able to just take a ticket and drive away. And further down the road, the towing crew hooking up to this black car. Unfortunately, there's no driver to take a ticket and move it, so it's being towed away. And something else to consider is this is actually an exit of a parking lot. So vehicles that are coming out that want to turn left, they might actually struggle to see oncoming traffic. So apart from the fact that you're not allowed to park here, that's another consideration. Anyway, they're just putting it on the back of the tow truck now. The guard said it's been here since early morning.